Welcome to Reel 45 with Stefan and Greg Hancock. We vibe out and have real talk, so tune in and check this out. Yeah, today is a new day. Let's seize it now and get hype. We talking about our careers, our family, and just life. Yeah, share my story with you. Inspiration like every day. Reel 45, we gon' keep it live. I keep episodes on replay. Hey, Reel 45. Yeah, Reel 45. Show them how we do it, man. Yeah.
Welcome to the Reel45 Podcast. We're glad to have everybody back here. This is episode number 20. I like it when we call it episodes because it's an episode.
Yeah.
And we do want to be different, right, Stefan?
Right.
Okay. Anyway, I'm Greg Hancock. Stefan Janelle's here with me, as always, sitting on the other side of the water there in sunny Sweden.
Yeah.
I'm over here in the cold, wintry Southern California. It's rough. It's really rough.
Must be.
It is. But we want to start off by saying thank you to our buddies and partners at Titans of Dirt. They've, as we keep reminding everybody, they've been awesome. They've been helping us to really promote and share the podcast, and we're grateful for that. So follow them on Facebook, social media, Titans of Dirt, and check out what they got coming in the future. It's going to be pretty cool. So we're excited. We're waiting for our own things that they're going to send over to us because we're going to be good representatives for them. They're going to send some cool stuff. So,
yeah.
What have you been doing over there, Stefan?
I've been sunbathing in the snow.
Really? Is that what you guys do in the winter? You lay out in the snow and
yeah, just shorts and having a cool time.
Nude? Do you do it nude?
You could do it nude, but the snow angels will be a bit different then.
Really cool. You'd have more features. It would be a little more detailed, right?
Oh yeah.
That's a way to some pictures.
I could.
Right on. Well, it's been a good week, so I'm glad you guys got snow. That means that you can do your snow angels however you do them, and we normally do those in the sand over here.
That's more comfortable.
Yeah, in one way, but also the sand is kind of like abrasive, like sandpaper. So,
oh yeah, so
you don't want to do the snow angels really fast, otherwise you end up with rashes and stuff. It's not pretty. It ain't pretty. So,
it's not pretty.
No.
So.
It's a new day. It's a new week. The season's coming closer for us. The Speedway season. The weather's changing. I don't know how much the weather's changing for you, but we won't go into that because you always get mad at me when I tell you how cold it is here and stuff. So
that's true. Yeah. I don't want to hear that.
Okay. So we have another pretty sweet guest sitting with us in our studio, our rad studios that we have. And he's the future of American Speedway, one of the best, if not the best, youngsters we have on the block here in California these days, or in the USA. I rate this guy very highly, as I do all our young Americans. And sadly, this dude hasn't been given the ultimate chance to make the trip to Europe just yet, but the time's coming. And we're happy to have him on the show, our young American, Luke Becker. Welcome to the Reel45 Podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm stoked to be a part of the show.
That's cool. What do you think of our episode thing? Would you call it an episode or would you call it a show?
Because
I say both.
I think the episode is kind of cool way to go for it.
That's cool. That's all we wanted to hear.
Yeah,
pretty much. So I'm jazzed because Luke, we asked him to do the podcast with us at some stage. We've been talking about it for a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And Luke made a recent trip down here to Southern California to do some practicing. And he and I have been out doing a little work together on the track and I'm trying to offer a little bit of help and advice to what he's got going on. And I'm stoked because he's so open to that advice. He's asked a lot of questions and told me what he would like to have some help with, which is pretty impressive. So I'm stoked that he asked me that he believes that I can give him a hand, and I'm trying to do exactly that. So he made the 6.5 hour trek down from Northern California on his own. Left yesterday morning and drove down, and we went straight out and did some riding out at the Paris flat track and ripped up a few hours there. We even ended up getting the lights turned on for us in the evening because it it ended up being a long afternoon. I think we originally started riding around 2:00 ish and didn't leave there until about 6:30. So it was a good solid day, and we're stoked that they opened the doors for us and let us come out there and ride. So it was cool. Now here we are doing a podcast, and we got lots of questions. We're trying to make Luke nervous, but you can't make this guy's nervous.
No.
It's like Chris Holder in that way. He's got nerves of steel.
That sounds good.
Yeah, super cool. So let's see if we put it like this. For Luke, you've had a pretty interesting last year. If we'll start there because it's right now it's the talk of the town with we want to get more Americans going to Europe. You're one of our key guys. You've had a pretty impressive run in the World Cup the last 2 years. He's only 19. Maybe we should let him tell us a little bit about you first. I'm going to back. I always do this. I try to steal the show and then I got to go back and ask him.
Oh yeah.
Tell us about you. You're 19.
Yeah, I'm 19. I'm currently racing Speedway, having lots of fun doing what I'm doing and trying to pursue a goal and get overseas and make a living off of it. And having Greg here mentoring me and guiding me along the way. And basically he's been there, he's done that with about everything. So to any advice from him, and it's just awesome and just so grateful to have this happening and be blessed with this opportunity. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this next year. It's going to be a big year and probably a big year to pave the way for the future. So I'm really looking forward to it.
That's cool. So you're born and raised in the area where you are now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was. We're based out of more of the Bay Area, and my home track's up in Auburn, which is about 2 hours north from where I'm at right now. So we travel about 2 hours up north to race every Friday, but then it also saves about 2 hours on the trip when we come down to SoCal and LA to race. So it helps us out a little bit, but yeah, I know it's been a good start, and
for sure
everything's been going great.
To put that into perspective, so he lives in Northern California compared to our Southern California, of course, but the area is called Brentwood, right?
Yeah,
where you're from, Brentwood. Mm-hmm. So in relation to Oakland, whereabouts are you close to Oakland, or is it far? Would it be north or south or east or west of Oakland, really?
We're probably about 45 minutes out from Oakland without any traffic. So
gotcha. So then you guys got to cross the bay, and then you go on up towards Auburn and those places.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also have Big Time Speedway too, which is pretty close, right?
Yeah. I know that's about hour 45, a little bit short of a drive for us, but it's reasonably about the same distance.
So that's cool. He's got two pretty well known and well established speedway tracks up there for him, so he can race 2 nights a week, more or less.
Yeah.
And then he makes the trip. You make the trip down to Southern California too, huh?
Yeah, I try to make those trips as much as possible and get as much track time as I possibly can get. So
that's cool.
Yeah, I love making the trips down here and getting as much seat time and experience as possible.
You have any brothers or sisters?
No, I'm an only child. I'm kind of happy about it too.
Yeah. Take it,
main focus is on me. That's pretty cool if you ask me.
That's right. That's good. Just take it all, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Gotta be greedy.
That's cool. So why are you going down to SoCal to race? Is it another track, or is it for the people, or?
I mean, it's just to get on the bike as much as possible and get as much seat time, and which basically is the key to practice and getting better. So yeah, I try to make as many races as I can possibly make and get on the track as much. So
cool.
Growing up, did you do any other sports, any school sports, or was there anything else you thought you might do or you were really into as a toddler or a
I grew up riding dirt bikes since I got my first dirt bike when I was about 3 years old, and been riding with my dad when I was about 2. I remember taking off. We lived in Patterson growing up for about 7 years before moving to Brentwood, and we're that's right off Highway 5. So we're right next to all the mountains and everything. And
cool.
I'd take off on the front of his 450, and my mom wouldn't be too happy about it. And I come back asleep on the front of the thing. So, it was a good time. I've always been raised around the bikes and did lots of moto growing up. And then in middle school, I did a little bit of basketball. I wrestled for about 3 years and had really fun doing that. And yeah, that was all good. But started racing Speedway. I think it was, can't really remember exactly what age. I think it was about 6th grade or so. And right when I got on Speedway bike, I kind of had the itch for that and didn't really want to do anything else. Kind of knew that was going to be my focus right from the start.
And his dad raced Speedway too, so I raced against him various times, and know the family name, the Becker name, kind of goes back in the sport. Anyway, so it's no surprise that he got into this drifting lifestyle that we're all into as well. So it's pretty cool like that. Are there any nieces or nephews or cousins or anything, other family involved that's close to you that's done Speedway? Do you have any uncles?
No, actually, I mean, my uncle, my dad's brother, he raced with my dad growing up. Mm-hmm. Their father got him, my Papa John, he got them involved in that. So they raced growing up, and then my dad ended up having me when he was super young, and actually ended up retiring from the sport for about like 9 years or so when I was born, just to raise me and put all his focus on me. And then when I was about, I believe 6th grade or so, or I think it was actually 5th grade or 4th grade, when he came back riding, and he got back on a bike racing Auburn every Friday nights, and me going up and watching him do that. And then I ended up getting on a bike, and I think he raced for about a season or so with me racing, and he kind of realized that it was kind of hard to do both of us and pit for both of us and kind of make it all happen. So he kind of stopped riding just to put his main focus on me.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty fortunate and couldn't have done it without him.
No, for sure. Did you start, so what kind of bike was your first Speedway bike, if we look back at that? It's been neat fun because we've listened to Chris Holder tell us stories about his stuff. We've heard the Davidson brothers, or Jonas Davidson has told me stories about what he did. And then we had obviously Ricky and Max and Dylan on the show too. And they've told us how they got started in their kind of bike. So what kind of bike did you start on?
Actually, I started on one of those Schupa 150s and got hooked up through Bill Warnock. And actually, this is a funny story. My dad was we're going to Auburn, has like a practice at the beginning of the season, about like 2 or 3 of them every year. And my dad was going to the practice, and he's telling me to bring your gear bag and maybe someone will let you ride a bike. I was like, I don't know about that. I don't really see that happening. And we ended up going out there, and he's real good friends with Bob Hicks and those people, and ended up, they saw that I had my gear bag and everything, and he ended up saying, well, come out to the next practice, and I'm going to talk to Bill Warnock in the meantime, see if maybe you can get some practice in on one of the Colton's other bikes. And ended up going out and doing some laps, already getting sideways. I think it was my second time out, and having a blast. And he actually said he would talk to Bill Warnock and see if I can maybe ride the bike for the next following season. So I was super stoked on that, and ended up getting the opportunity to ride one of those Schupas 150s for that year. And he ended up, I think I was only on 150s for one season, and then I hopped up to 250s the following year, and he helped me out on 250s for about 2 seasons or so.
How old were you when you jumped on the 250 then?
I believe
roughly.
Can't really remember exactly. I think, don't you have to be 16 to? Isn't it 16? No. It's 12 to hop on a 250.
12 is what it is here. It's kind of cool because we're trying to, in Europe, the rule keeps changing. And the World Championship, you had to be first. Originally it was 14, and now I think they've moved it to 13.
Yeah.
And in Sweden, you still, to ride the 250, I think you still have to be 14. I don't think you're allowed to, but the World Championship you can race from 13. So how are you supposed to get the practice if if you're too young? I mean, if you're you can race the World Championship when you're 13, but you're not allowed to actually practice on them until you're 14. So I can't.
That's strange.
I haven't worked it out yet. Anyway, that's cool. Here it feels a cool story.
I'm super fortunate, and huge shout out to Bill Warnock and Bob Hicks for basically getting me started and getting me going. So that's some cool stuff right there, and
those
really
are
appreciate
cool.
it.
That Bill Warnock and of course Bob too, but this guy's been supporting numerous riders over the years, and the guy just he's got such a love for the sport. He loves to help the kids and just has a good time, but has produced some pretty darn good riders over the years. And here's another one that he's been able to put his hands on and bring up. So yeah, I can agree. That's a good shout out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's some cool stuff. I know I would have ended up getting on a speedway bike sooner or later, but as of right then, it probably would have been another year or two before I actually got started. So he got the ball rolling.
Yeah, totally.
But when you started to practice for yourself on a track, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Can you remember when you started to ride with other people, if you were scared? Because if you look at the race, you're so close to each other.
Yeah.
And you have to get the control of the bike. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I was probably a little timid growing up, especially getting on a speedway bike with no brakes. But I grew up racing motocross. I did a little bit of racing motocross, just a lot of riding and a lot of trail riding and all those sorts of things. So I was kind of already familiar with riding next to people and kind of trusting them and trusting yourself. But getting on a bike with no brakes, it took them a little getting used to, but no, it all came together. So I'd say I was a little scared at first, but it kind of went away pretty quick.
It's a good conversation starter too. Yeah, I race a bike with no brakes.
Yeah,
you tell people that
oh really?
Well, no brakes? What are you talking about? They go sideways. That's my brakes.
But that must be the hard thing to just trust the other guys on the track, because they want to win, so they just.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely takes a lot of trust for your other riders, and kind of already knowing what they're going to do in certain situations helps a lot too. So, no, yeah, definitely have a lot of trust for all the other people out on the track you're with.
It's pretty neat over here too. I mean, I guess other parts of the world they do the same, but the junior speedway program in the US is particularly impressive. And there's just kids out there riding from such a small age. They're little tiny dudes. And he's a little guy too, like I am, but the dads they put them on the track and they just turn them loose, and the kids, they just figure it out. It's pretty rad. And here I am, I've been on my kids, as I know what it's like to hit the ground, and I'm always trying to listen, if you just try to do like this and just try to do it like that, you can probably avoid crashing, but it's okay to crash. And then I go out, sometimes with my brother, and he's like, dude, just let him go. Just let him go. They'll be fine. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I don't want him to crash on him and hurt himself. He's like, dude, they'll figure it out. And it's like, it's true though. Then you figure if you're in their head too much. I mean, I try to steer them away from super dangerous things and just be aware of what's coming and try to have a visual so you can avoid that. But they get on the track and they kind of get close and they might rub wheels and they might hit the deck once, 1 or 2 or 5 times. But yeah, you figure it out just by learning. So,
maybe just a question because I'm so old, because when you're young, you don't think like that.
If you're so old, what about me?
Yeah, but you're getting, at least me, getting more scared when I get older.
No, it's true though, right? You tend to walk on eggshells a little bit more when you get to our I can't put you in my age, but when we get up in our more advanced years, you tend to walk a little bit more careful on things. You don't just jump off of stuff the same. I want to, but then I come in, I'm like, suddenly I found the brakes that I haven't had for so many years on my bike, and I think I'll just kind of casually climb down from that wall instead of jumping down.
Yeah.
No fear. Are you a kind of a daredevil kind of a guy? Are you a guy who kind of just sees something and just bam, go right for it? Are you one that kind of looks back and like, I'm not sure about that?
I mean, yeah, definitely. If there's an opportunity, I'm going to take it. So
right.
Yeah, I'd say I'm a daredevil.
You're more of a, you see an opportunity, you go for it.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that's kind of what it takes to, especially on a speedway track, you gotta make your way. And if you don't, then you're gonna be stuck behind. You gotta actually be aggressive to make passes and make moves happen. So
a lot has to happen in under a minute, right?
Oh yeah.
So you don't have time to stop and think.
For only 4 laps, it's pretty short.
Yeah, over here, especially on our tracks, I think a heat lasts probably less than 40 seconds or something. So it's in Europe on the big tracks, it's more like 60 seconds. But we think that's fast.
Oh yeah.
But that's pretty rad. You obviously growing up, your dad was a rider too. Do you feel like you're following in his footsteps in a way, or are you taking your own initiative and just going for it?
I mean, yeah, definitely coming up in juniors and all that, definitely following in his footsteps. I know he kind of got to a point where once he had me, kind of, I know his dreams were to be a speedway rider and do the whole deal, but having a kid that young and all that kind of takes a toll, and that's the main focus at the main priority at the time. So
you got to have your priorities right too. Yeah, it's responsibility. So he did what he had to do, and he hasn't done a bad job.
No, not at all.
No. But your goal is that to be a world champ, or do you have a plan B? Are you studying, or?
I mean, I got a plan B. I'm currently I just started working with my dad. He's an electrician, so I'm kind of like an apprentice sort of type deal with working with him right now, and that's going good. I've been working with him for about probably 4 months or 5 months or so. So I'm learning a lot of that, learning that trade. And I mean, ultimate goal is be world champion. That's what I plan on doing. I'm trying to get over there and make a living racing speedway. But if anything doesn't play out or get hurt or something along those lines, I definitely have a little bit sort of a fallback plan, knowing kind of the basics of a trade and basically having at least something.
He and I were talking about this yesterday. It seems like with a lot of the American guys and even the Aussie guys, the ones that have to leave home behind to go to Europe to be where the best guys in the world are, we have to find ways to generate money to get going. Like everybody has to do it in Europe too, but we've got that little bit more. Okay, I've got to go there. If I want to eat and I don't score any points, I don't make any money, I need to have I got to have something in my pocket, so you go and you grab a job somewhere and learning this stuff. And I said to him too, learning things. I did stuff in the automotive paint business. I did construction and various other things. And in the construction world, I learned about plumbing and electrical and all sorts of different things. So in one way, it's rad because when you eventually have your own place or you become a homeowner and all these kind of things, it's nice to have a little bit of knowledge about all this stuff. So when something breaks and you can't afford to call some dude to come and fix it, you just fix it yourself. Mm-hmm. So it's like learning the trade by just doing it. You don't have to read about it. You didn't get the bachelor's degree but I can still build a house, sort of a thing. It might not be to spec, but I can build it.
Yeah, exactly.
No. You should see the dog houses I built for my dogs. They're bad, man. They're awesome. Yeah. Got lights and stuff. Yeah, they're waterproof. So anyway, looking through some of this thing, if we move forward, like you went from your junior speedway days, you jumped up to the 500s, which this is all fairly recent. You haven't been in the 500s too long. Did you win any junior speedway national championships?
No, I didn't actually win any junior national championships. I won a silver cup, and that's like a FIM deal. I won one of those. Won a gumball. I think just once actually on a 150. But
the gumball's the race.
Oh yeah. No,
you've heard about the gumball, Stefan.
I learned about that now.
Yeah, that's the one to win. Being a kid, that's the bragging rights.
Screw the nationals, man. It's gumballs forever.
You have one of those at home.
Oh yeah, I know. I still got it. All the gumballs are gone out of it, but it's still sitting on my dresser.
There's a difference between he and I. I still have my gumball that I won too, but it's probably still full of gumballs. That's how screwed up I am. I even save the gumballs. He was smart. He ate them. Get this thing. I got the machine now. I can just top it up with something better. Okay, not a national title. You got the gumball, the silver cup. We've learned a lot about the silver cup. Seems to be a pretty big deal now too. So
definitely.
There's 3 big events at least for junior speedway these days. You have the gumball rally, which is kind of the season opener, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone starts the year off. They've been planning this all year long, and as we talked about with Max and the guys too, you've been planning this for a year, and then you come that big day. You go off. The gumball rallies there, and people come from all over the nation and travel from all over the place, and all racing to win that darn gumball machine. And then when the weekend's over with, it's like everyone's had such a blast because it ends up being a 2 or 3 day event, right?
Mm-hmm.
People camp out and whatever. Then they all go away, and then a couple of months later or a month and a half later, the season starts. So then it kicks off, and it's the build up to the Silver Cup. Is that the next event? And then
I believe so. Mm-hmm.
So it's 3 big events in junior speedway to win, which is huge. So there's a lot to go for. If I didn't win the national this year, but I got the silver cup and the gumball, or vice versa, and they all have high status.
Oh, that's cool. Is it something alike in Europe for juniors?
I don't, yeah, it will be similar because you have your Swedish championships or Danish championships or European championships, things like that. So you guys do still have these events, but I don't know what other kind of trophy events they have. They'll have like a SEF Mästerskap, like a championship in Sweden, other things that still have a lot of meaning that people want to do. For sure, it's similar. But you guys have much more team racing, even at the young age there. They do teams for the ADCCs and things like that. And it's not as many individual races, but there are still the open meetings. And I'm still learning a lot about the European things now with Wilbur being involved too. It's been quite an education how it works. And I'm a big pusher for the 4-strokes, trying to get the 4-strokes more involved too. So it's a little bit cheaper. And I think the ride on a 4-stroke is a little more similar to Speedway than the 2-strokes, but that's just me. I'm old school, and I'm trying to make it new school too.
You should take the gumball with you to Europe.
Right, we should do that, huh?
Yeah.
What if we had that in Sweden? Though we'd have to call it tuggummi.
Ja, tuggummi-maskin. I don't know.
Hey, have you won a tuggummi? Tuggummi, that's the way to go. That's like chewing gum in Swedish.
Yeah.
Tuggummi.
Yeah.
So that would be, it would be fun to do that. An international gumball.
Yeah.
How rad. Hey, you might be onto something there. I'll have to talk to my...
And the winner in Sweden can go to America and ride the real gumball.
Cool.
Look at this. Cool. We should be entrepreneurs.
Yeah, we should do that.
We are entrepreneurs. We'll get my buddy Sake from Varkos in Finland too.
Oh.
I've been working really close with this guy from Finland. He's really pushing the junior speedway scene in Finland now. They've got a couple of kids on 250s that are doing really good, but now he's showed a lot of interest in the 4-strokes, and he's built some from this guy. I talk about him in social media a little bit, and maybe I've mentioned it to Stefan too, but he is so gung-ho, and I got to meet him in the 250 championships last year in Prague with Colton and Sebastian. This guy is so hardcore into junior speedway and really trying to help promote it in Finland and bring kids up and make Finland into more of a recognized nation in the sport again. And he's doing a fantastic job. He traveled to Sweden to come in. He bought some frame kits that I had left over from Wilbur's, and came and got those and built up some bikes. He sends me pictures and calls me for questions about certain things, but he's building bikes that are so darn cool, man. They are, and he's really into it, puts a lot out on, social media and things like this. He wants to work together now to put on some races in Sweden, in Finland, maybe bring a lot of riders from around Europe to Finland, because it feels like Finland is so far away from everything. To get anywhere, they have to travel so far to go to a race, and I'm just impressed. This guy's, I keep talking about him, and I think he's an amazing individual, and what he's doing for the kids is second to none. So Anyway, we'll come back to sake for maybe we'll have a round of the international gumball in Varkaus in Finland one day too.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Make it an international gumball series.
Yeah.
It'll be the gumball rally. The world, gumball rally, like the cars do. They go around the world.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, it would be cool. Anyway, let's go back to Luke Becker. We're getting off track here. Thanks, Luke. You took us off track. Looking the last 2 years, you've found a place in the American team for the World Cup, Log VM, Stefan, the World Cup that we've had. And Luke has been the junior kind of guy right there pushing for a spot, but always got a place in the team. And these guys, when they come over from the U.S., they have to, the goal is we want to get these guys to Europe. We want to get them to come over there. We need more guys so we can be a more prominent, dominant team than we are. And we're always there, and we're making small progress all the time, small steps. But it's hard. They come from tracks that are 150 meters or less than 200 meters, and then they go to tracks that are 350 to 400 meters overall. That's like virtually doubling what they're riding, and it's huge. And this guy has been in 2 tours now for the World Championship, the World Team Championship, and shown some pretty significant results in both. They come over, they ride borrowed bike equipment and jump on these tracks they've never seen before, and are expected to go out there and score points against some of the biggest names in Speedway. So it's like being thrown into a pack of wolves and fend for yourself. And it's it's the same for everybody, but I think it's particularly hard for the Americans and maybe some of the Aussies too. However, the Aussies are riding pretty big tracks already. Our guys are riding little bull rings, so it's a big step. And
what is the biggest step? Is it the technique that is different from a small to a big track, or is it the speed?
I'm going to let Luke answer that because he's been doing it.
I mean, you could say both. Speed, the long tracks, everything is just it's a whole different ball game. You're taught kind of on these tracks over here. You're coming in the corner, you're just throwing them to the lock sideways, and then you go over there, and that's completely the wrong way to ride a speedway bike on those tracks. So it takes a lot of adjustment and getting used to, but fortunately that's what I like. I like the bigger tracks. I tend to do a lot better on them too, and I'm happy to be in that way than the other way around. So no, yeah, I'm all for the big tracks, and it's definitely a whole different ball game from over here.
You like the speed and the width and the length. And,
yeah, it's just like it's more of a over here. It's kind of, I wouldn't say like whoever gets the gate wins the race, but it's over there on big tracks. It makes it for a lot better racing. It's more the faster guy is going to be the one who wins, not the one who gets the start, and just makes for a lot better racing. I mean, over here, don't get me wrong, we got really tight and it's exciting to watch, but going at a high speed and on bigger tracks, I think it's a lot more exciting.
Yeah, that's cool. That's the kind of thing we like to hear, because these are the kind of guys that are just antsy and itching to take the plane ride across to Europe and pursue the next step. Some guys are happy to just to stay in this scene and do what they want to do. As we talked with Max and Dylan and Ricky last week, it's kind of interesting to hear so many different views, and now to hear your view. And everybody wants to know why aren't there more Americans in Europe? Why are we so limited these days? And back when I went over there, it was 10, 15, 20 guys, maybe not 20, but 10 to 15, 17 guys that were there at one period. And then today it's less than a handful. And you're lucky if you can get 2 on your hand, But as it is now, this is a good sign. Maybe the cycle is starting to come around again, and the Americans are coming finally. Maybe it's taken longer than we had hoped for. Australians have produced a lot of youngsters over the last years. There's so many young Australian guys that are doing so well, and just they leave home at such a young age and they just go. And I'll find my way. I'll figure it out. And if they get the work permit is the biggest issue these days, as this guy knows. If they can't get a work permit to stay and work, then they're stuck. They got to leave. But some of the guys have, a grandparent or some sort of family that's been British in the past, and They can get a work permit a lot easier, or they can get a British passport and they can live there, and that's cool. So it'd be awesome if Luke had some sort of British grandmothers or ancestry of some kind.
You have to get married.
Yeah, you can do that too. Mm-hmm. If you want to. Yeah, it's just a convenience marriage. That's all it is.
Or not.
Have fun while you're doing it, right?
Yeah. You were talking about the guy to get the right gait wins, but I just watched a YouTube video with you before we did this thing, and I think you had the second gate and you were the last one in the start.
Yeah, and I was just showing Greg that video. That's
I want to hear Stefan do this.
Yeah, it was really cool because then you get almost first, and then you get on the back wheel and crash.
Yeah.
But the thing is that you came from last to first in like one lap, I think. It was awesome.
It doesn't always play out that way, but it happened to that race, huh?
Yeah, everything was going to plan, and suddenly it went all backwards. It all went up on one wheel.
And it's hard to see what happened because it just going really fast and then just up and back wheel and crash.
This is going to be cool because the Titans guys are having fun with this one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got some cool pictures. Perfect pictures from that crash. So that was a good one.
He was saying that too. It's because when you punch it in on YouTube or Google, and that's like one of the first videos that pops up. That particular.
It wasn't.
And that was last year, right? Was it, or was it the year before?
I believe it was the year before. I think it was 2 years ago.
So 16. Mm-hmm. It's a cool video, though. It's really cool.
Yeah, it is, and you don't have to get the right gate. You just go for it.
Yeah, you make your own lines.
Yeah.
So you look at that 2 years ago, those kind of things were happening. I mean, you're learning from your mistakes. Then you got into the World Cup and had a run with us. Then he's had his second World Cup bout last year, which turned out to be one of the most memorable races for American Speedway for a long time. His last heat of the series and the race off in Poland, Leszno. And was it heat 20?
It was heat 20.
It was heat 20. This is episode 20.
Oh, man.
Episode 20, heat 20 is the one that people are talking about still because he came from the gate 4, was it?
Yep, gate 4.
And made the most spectacular first corner move and kind of crossed and went in between some of the best riders in the world and came out in front and won the heat convincingly, which just opened a whole new world for American Speedway, and people haven't stopped talking about it. And they're like, see, we can do it. This is it. So Luke has become the inspiration. It was a fantastic heat. And literally it is still the talk of the town here that if you want to do it, you can do it. Look at Luke did it. So just got to believe in yourself. And this guy's, he's turning up the volume. And we have a lot of guys. We got Brock Nickel. We got the Romo brothers. I don't want to leave anybody out, but there's so many youngsters, and you got, hopefully Curtis Hamill's going to continue on his trek to come back up. And there's a big list of names that are running the gauntlet right now. So yeah. That's
cool. Luke, how do you work with other youngsters that are younger than you to help them out?
I try to do as much as I can. I'm pretty busy during the races and everything, trying to focus on myself and everything, but whenever we get out to like a practice or anything sort of that I try to do as much as I can and give them much pointers and tips. And just because I know when people like me, when I was younger, I know like Max, he was like my idol growing up, and just anybody telling you any little tips and advice when you have your dad or someone telling you, but you're always like, I don't know if he knows what he's talking about. When it comes from other people that you look up to, it means a lot more. So yeah, I try to as much as I can, and I can also tell when I do it means a lot more to the kids. And no, it's a good thing all around. So I try to do as much as possible.
I think his status changed heavily after that heat 20 in the race off last year. That people look at him more like, wow. So yeah, it's definitely raising the bar.
was a game changer.
It was good for all the right reasons. So
That's cool.
So the situation is now, like, he last year in the national championship here in the US, he won the first round, and then it was the second round where you had your crash, right?
Yeah, at Santa Maria.
In Santa Maria, and ended up breaking
my ankle, both sides of the ankle, the tibula and fibula. So that put me out for about 4 weeks, with the third round of the nationals being 2 weeks later. So I, of course, couldn't make it, which kind of was a big factor in the whole play out of the whole thing, me trying to get top 4 to chase the work visa. So
how many points did you have in that second round before you got hurt?
I can't exactly remember how many points exactly it was, but I know after the second round, even with the broken ankle, I was still sitting second place.
Gotcha.
Because I broke my ankle in the final, so I still scored all of my points throughout the night.
So you got most of that night of racing in before you got hurt.
Yeah, no, it was the last race. I think it was the last 2 laps or so. But
but only 4 weeks with a broken ankle.
Yeah, I was back on the bike 4 weeks later.
Did they operate on the ankle too, or no?
No, actually, I got really lucky. Both the bones that separated, but how the bike came down and it crushed it, but it crushed it fully flat. And if it would have crushed it at like a certain angle, or my foot was kind of angled with the bike coming down on it, it could have like done a lot more damage. So I was really fortunate. The bones, they separated but didn't shift, so I didn't have to have surgery. They were giving me the option to have surgery, but saying that it would be a faster recovery time. But I'm like, nah, I'm holding off. I'm not gonna put nothing in my ankle if I don't absolutely have to. So 4 weeks is pretty quick, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually on crutches. Everyone didn't really like that, but I couldn't even really walk yet, and I just want to get back on the bike because I knew the 4th round was coming up. I think it was about 3 weeks after that, after my first ride, when I got back out there.
Shit. And
my dad was pushing the bike over, and I was crutching over on crutches, hopping on the bike, going out and doing some laps. And after the fact, I didn't think it was that good of an idea, but I just wanted to know how I was feeling at the time and just kind of see where my whereabouts were of when I can actually be fully ready to go again. So that's what my kind of reasoning for it was just to kind of see where I was at in the process.
Third round, and that's the round that Brock won, is that right?
Yeah,
he won the 3rd round. Then the 4th round.
No, he won the 2nd round that I crashed.
Oh, he won that round.
The 2nd round, and then went out and won the 3rd round too.
Yeah, so he had 2 wins there, and then the 4th round didn't go as planned for him, right?
Yeah, and I think he actually had the 1st round. He had like a rough night.
Yeah, I remember
sitting
that.
Pretty far back in the series, and then went out and won the next 2. So it brought him right back up. That's pretty awesome.
That's cool. So then he finished up in 5th position, 4 or 5 points out of the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
And to get a work permit in the UK these days, you have to be in the top 4 in the US Championship Series. And he missed that by those few points because of the injury. So it kind of put a downer on the chances of getting a team place in England, which is where everybody kind of has to go. When they take the next step in their career, they have to go to England. Really, we recommend it always because it's the place to get the most riding, the most experience. You do probably at least 40 races a year in the UK alone, extra races that they put on. It usually goes like that. You can get a lot of racing there, which is good. So you're going from the tapes many, many times, learning how to make starts, how to race into the corner. And that was the idea, to get him there, and was very, very close that they made some special letters to try to get some dispensation for showing his abilities, and he was winning the round, and his injury, and he still finished high up, and a contract was on the table with Edinburgh Monarchs, which was looking really, really good. It looked like it was a done deal as long as the work permit could be passed, but in the end it didn't. They didn't accept it, so he had to step away from it. And under the circumstances, that opportunity has recently come available to Max Rummel, who we spoke to prior to this episode. And Max was offered the same deal that Luke had. and he's taken it because Max was second in the championship, so he was able to get the work permit. So he's got that position in the team. So there's another American going to Europe anyway. And
that's cool.
It's really cool. So that's 2, and he'll be paired up with Ricky Wells in that team there. And who's to say what will happen with Luke in the future? But ultimately he wants to be there too. Brock Nickel was allegedly had a deal on the table before he got injured recently too. So his deal has been put on the sidelines, as I understand it. So it's a shame. There could have been 2 or 3 guys going over this year, and as it is right now, it's just 1. But that could change in the future. So we'll see what happens. And it's good for Max. So Max has been in touch with Luke, and they've been very open with each other on how it worked, and shared some thoughts, which is awesome that there's that camaraderie, even though that there's also the I want to be there first feeling, I want that place, not you. So it's been cool. And then John Campbell, those guys from Edinburgh are awesome. They were super helpful, and sounds like they made a good deal for him. So the tables are turning. Are turning
pretty quick.
Yeah, it's a shame. Yeah, it's a really big week. Things have really started to go. So the way it is now, it's Luke is going to push for his national championship win this year and try to steal it away from the great Billy Gennaro. Billy's just been dominating U.S. Speedway for so many years now, and it's going to be interesting because if Max is going to go away. If Luke ends up getting a job somewhere else, and Billy Gennaro's competition is dwindling. No disrespect to the other guys, but I hope that's going to step up the game for these other guys to know that, man, we can't just throw this thing out on the red carpet for Billy. We need to give him a run for his money. But he's unbelievable. The guy's still he's not the youngster in the game, but man, his experience and his skills are crazy. It's easy for him. Because he's a natural. He's so good. But
he makes it look easy. That's for sure.
He makes it look really easy.
He manhandles that thing.
Oh, he makes it look easier for me too. I watch him and it's like, man, I want some of that. I want some of that. But as it's turned out now, everybody knows too that my situation has changed a little bit in Europe and in Poland too. I've hopped out of the extra league, the top league in Poland, and stepped down to the second division with Rzeszów. I hate to say step down, but I've taken a step to another league to the left because I took a step to the left. It's always left. Yeah, it's always left. Speedway, we always go left. So
turn right to go left.
Pretty much, right? Yeah, figure that out. Drifter. So I had a really good offer on the table with this club Rzeszów, who I rode for many years ago, and they're in the second division. They want to get back to the top league, and they made an approach to me of come and help us to come back to the top. And everything they said sounds fantastic, almost too good to be true, because they really want to do it different. They don't want to do it like everybody's doing it today. They want to do it different. They want to rebuild the squad. They want to rebuild the concept and build a team that will stick with them on the way up and bring a lot of youngsters and things like that. So I've had the chance to get involved there, which wasn't hard for me to make that decision. It just sounded, this is great. It's not going to be that hardcore bam, bam, bam. The demand is so high these days and things are changing so much. And I'm not scared of the demand, but some of the other things that come with the demand. So I want to change my avenue a little bit. And that's what I've done. So as it's turned out, we've got a pretty good team on paper that they've built. And I had the idea now also to try to find a way to get this guy involved.
Wow.
Last year I came the start of the season, Brock Nickel joined me in Europe, and we did I think he was there for 6 or 8 weeks or something, and did a lot of practicing and training with our teams, and spent a lot of time with Maciek Janowski and did some training with him, and those guys pretty much put so many opportunities on the table for him to take advantage of. And the idea was that hopefully he could get involved in a team in the UK, which didn't work out in the end. And to be involved in a top league in Poland is so difficult to get in. So it didn't work out for Brock last year. But he gained a wealth of experience and came home and ended up winning 2 national rounds, which is great. And now we'll see where that takes him when he recovers from his shoulder injury at the moment. And had the thought to do the same with Luke, to bring Luke over. And I've asked him if he'd be interested in joining me to come and practice with us, with the team. And perhaps it'll get enough experience and time on the tracks that it should help, hopefully, a little bit with his U.S. National Championship goals, what he's going to do, and also pick up a little more experience on the tracks in Poland the beginning of the year with test matches and all sorts of stuff. We hope that it's going to work. We anticipate that it will. Zhezhov has stepped up and said we would welcome the fact to have Luke with us and training with us. And ideally, I'd love to see this guy potentially get a team place somewhere in Poland when the window opens in May. We don't know if that'll work, but this guy has already proved that he's got the ability to do it. And I think it's just a matter of somebody giving him the shot. He won't let him down. And I say that for him because I know I've seen how he is and I know what he's like. So I'm stoked again that I get to have somebody who's looking for advice and help and asking. And that kind of stuff is hard for me to say no, because I'm full of that. I got a lot of stuff I like to share if I can, especially when it's an American.
Oh, so. Sounds awesome. How do you feel about that, Luke?
Oh man, I can't put in words how excited I am, and it's just given the opportunity. Just huge thank you to Greg and exactly giving me this opportunity. And I just know this is going to go a long way. And me not getting the place in the UK this year and all that, I was pretty bummed about it at first to say, but then once this opportunity came, this opportunity might have not been there if that would have happened. So everything happens for a reason, and see how it all plays out. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be one awesome journey.
And Poland, I mean, that's quite a far away.
Oh yeah, no, I got the right to go over there this last year for Lesno for the World Cup, and man, that's some cool stuff right there. I was walking down towns and I even saw like a life-size billboard, like their hometown rider, and it's just how big it is over there. It's just crazy, and it's definitely where I want to be. And it's everything's live stream on TV. I was walking into places and Speedway's being played right there, and man, It's just the coolest feeling.
That's cool. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I was just going to say that he might. I mean, something like this is normally you always have to go to England first. To nobody ever really gives you the chance to gamble with a young American. They don't want to do that, and so they always go to England first. The British are very cool because they give the opportunities, and they often find these little gold gems, and no one really ever does that in Europe too much. So I'm hoping that this will be something that might slightly persuade these people to look outside of the small continents here, or in those parts of the world, and give somebody like this a shot. It's tough. A Polish team, a Swedish team, a Danish team, a German team, not all of them will always gamble and give a guy a shot, but I can't see why this guy couldn't make it happen in both Sweden and Poland at a very, very early time in his career.
Sounds great. Are you being there for a long time?
You gonna go for a long time? Like,
I think we're planning on about a month or so to be staying with Greg, training with him, and just getting seat time, and hopefully having people watch and turn some heads. That's the goal, and hopefully get a spot by the end of mid-May. So
it'd be cool if it works out. It'd be great. We're kind of like painting this picture, and maybe the stars won't line up, but we're trying to pull them together, and make it work. But to be there for a month and train with the team and probably do a lot of test matches with the juniors in the team and with the other riders to put him up against the current team and see how well he does. And wow. I'm pretty sure that's going to be successful. But then he has his first national championship is April 28th or 23rd. So his first round of the U.S. National starts pretty early in the year. So he'll get over there, and just like Brock did last year too, get over there and get those early months or weeks of training and whatever. He'll be on the track racing at, at top level, world championship level, and then come home and do the U.S. national and see if it helps him or makes it harder for him. Could be like that too, coming from the big tracks to the small tracks. But
sounds cool. Can we follow you somewhere and see how it develops?
I mean, I have an Instagram. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter too. I don't really post too much on Twitter, but yeah, probably the biggest thing is probably Facebook. That's where mostly everything's posted about me and my racing career. So yeah, that's the best bet to follow me at.
Cool. So we will tag you in the post.
Yeah.
And is it Luke Becker or Luke Becker 22
on Facebook?
On Facebook,
yeah, it's just Luke Becker.
Luke Becker. And what about Instagram?
Instagram, it's Luke 22, but in between each letter there's a underscore. So
gotcha.
Right.
That's the key to find me on Instagram.
L_U_K_E_22
underscore.
Oh, that's hard to write.
Yeah,
it's harder to say it. But just make everybody aware that Luke will not be underscoring.
No.
That's his motivation. The underscore, no way, it's not going to happen.
No.
So that's cool. That's a good thing. And the even more current thing that has literally just happened in the very recent days, as Luke has been offered a place in the under 21 world championship. I think Brock Nickel was the first up for dibs for that one, and has recently said no to it. So, and then we have to, because of his injury, and he's not sure he'll be back in shape in time. So that opportunity came available, and which Luke had turned down originally because it's a very costly adventure for these guys to try to make it happen. And Brock had a lot of help from Hagen Shocks over the last couple of years. So they've been backing him and really helping out. But with his injury at the moment, he doesn't feel he's going to be fit and ready for it. So he's handed it over, and Luke has had the second shot at it, which he's grabbed pretty quick. And in the process, we have also offered, with our new Hancock High Grand Prix team that myself and Raphael, my mechanic, started putting together, we've extended our support to the under 21 program as well as the youth. So we're already helping Bartosz Smykawa from Poland, and now Raphael has also agreed with me to invite Luke to be a part of our team, obviously if he so wishes, so where we'll support him with equipment and our services and mechanics and stuff to try to help him to make a name for himself in the World Under 21 Championship. So things are looking good. It's a lot of, through the negative of not getting a spot in England, there are still positives that are coming out of it, and just looking for those positives. So it's pretty cool.
That sounds good. So you will be more than ready for next year.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm going to get lots of tips and pointers from the 4-time world champion right here. So can't complain about that, huh? No, yeah, I'm super blessed for this opportunity, and it's gonna be one crazy ride, and I can't wait for it. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, I've told him, like we always say, Stefan, we try to surround ourselves with good people, right? And exactly. I surrounded myself with this guy, Mr. Janelle, because he's a great guy too. So without these kind of people, it's some people do it their way, and I found that it works good not to burn bridges and make good contacts. So
definitely,
that's all I can say to you, just to encourage you to think about that. You got to be yourself, right? Mm-hmm. You still got to do it your way, huh?
Exactly, but then you can get some good points on the way.
That's right.
Oh yeah, no, he's first year going over and all that. From what I've heard, it's definitely the hardest, and what kind of paves the way for the future, and how someone like this basically mentoring me and guiding me along all the way. And any questions I have, I can ask him. I'm sure he can say I've been asking lots of questions. I hit him up for any little thing I think of, but that's just how I am. And I just like to, whenever I'm doing good, I know you can always be better, and there are always things that could change for the good, and having him for tips and advice is just awesome, and it's gonna go a long way.
Gee, my head is growing.
You can show them all the good restaurants or where not to go, or,
Yeah.
Someone that's been there, done that with basically everything.
I can't really tell you all the good places to go. I can tell you all the places where you shouldn't go. I wouldn't go there if I were you.
No.
Careful, guy.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's right. That can be helpful. But that might make him more curious. Why can't I go there? I need to know why.
Yeah. You shouldn't.
Stefan will go with you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And don't do that because we go to the bad places all the way.
Yeah. Let's go find out why Greg doesn't want you to go there.
Yeah, I'm going to stay away from that.
Actually, Stefan's a bad guy. He's a guy that he tells me where not to go.
Actually, when I went to... Oh, now we're going sideways.
Hey, that's what we do. We get sideways.
I went to Spain to study, and I was living with a guy called Jose. And the first day we came there, he couldn't speak English so good, so he was sitting with a big map and he was writing like shots. The shots you got. Is that a shot?
Oh, like injections. Yeah.
Yeah, injection shots. Like a spruta. I don't know.
Yeah, shots.
Yeah. So he write that on the map, and then he write tits, and he write crosses, and he was like, "Don't go to these places. Otherwise, it's fine, but don't go to these places in Spain because Barcelona it's cool, but these places you can't. You're not allowed. You can't go home then."
He showed you where to get the shots, or like, was that shots where the drugs are, or shots where you might need to get a shot to fix something you got when you were in the place with the tits?
It was the drugs, I think.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So it was like, don't go here, but you can go anywhere you want, but not here.
That's the difference where people look at it that way. When they see the shots, they can either see it as a place to get fixed or a place to get jacked up.
Exactly. He was like, if you're going to go there, I'm going to follow with you.
Yeah. I'll do a map like that for him, and maybe you can do one too.
Oh yeah, I help you with that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've come to the point in the episode, unless you've got some other interesting questions, Stefan.
Not right now. Maybe I will come up with them later.
That's right. I was gonna say, are you ready for weather and food and all that stuff in Europe to Luke? But he's kind of already done it. He's got his feet wet.
Yeah, going over, I'd say 2 years ago for the first World Cup. That was, before going over, I definitely knew that's like I wanted to get over racing and make a career out of it. But that first year, man, that was a turning point. That made me just, my whole motivation and everything. Like I was definitely motivated before, but that changed a lot and made me definitely want to do anything I possibly can to get over there and make it all happen. So that was a turning point. And then even just this last year going over it was kind of different vibe and feeling about everything. It was more of a, I'm not saying like, it was just a whole different like team. Like we did everything as a team. We're prepping bikes as a team, everything we did. And it was just being a whole actual team part of it is just a really good feeling, and not just in it for yourself. You're watching your buddies go out there and ride good, and you're pumped, just as pumped as you were if you're out there riding good. And it's an awesome feeling. And to do with this last year was the young guns coming up, and me, Brock, Dylan, and it was pretty cool to go over and experience all with people that you've been growing up racing with and learning from each other. So it was all around, it was just an awesome experience. And it was Heat 20, I'd probably say that turned a lot of heads, and I was actually pinching myself afterwards, making sure it was actually real. I remember when I got past Troy Batchelor, and I was just waiting. I was riding wide. I'm like, dude, I was waiting for him to pass me, and like, is he gonna, where is he at? I didn't want to look back. I'm like, no, I'm not looking back. I'm looking forward. And when coming across that finish line, man, I can't even put into words the feeling. It was just awesome. Just not just for myself, but for the whole team. And one of the highest levels and highest stages is a crazy, crazy feeling.
Cool.
Every time I talk about it, man, my hair's just sticking up right now.
That's awesome. There's plenty more of that to come.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, he's getting one. That's going again. That's not all.
Cool.
Yeah, it's all standing up, Stefan.
Yeah, it does. That's cool. Have you been to Sweden before?
Yeah, actually, I got to go over there in Basterbik for the first round. Well, actually, the second round of the World Cup, but that first round we were in. And yeah, Sweden, that was a cool place. I like that. I'd probably say out of everywhere I've gone to England, Poland, and Sweden, and say Sweden probably like more of not they can call it home, but probably the closest to it. So no, it's really cool. I like it,
especially in the winter.
Yeah,
I wasn't there for the winter, so I don't know. But
no, I'm the same. I really like Sweden. Obviously, I have a little bit more of a reason to like it too. But it's a rad country, and you do get a lot of similarities to the home lifestyle and the opportunities, and a lot of American cars and Stefan.
Oh yeah.
He's more American than me. He makes me want to be Swedish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. Don't know what to say now.
Yeah. I was trying to pump you up, like you pump me up. It's like, that's what we did. We pump you up.
He's
blushing.
Yeah. Look at him. He's all red. Look at him.
Great.
I love these video links. You can see everything. Well, we see enough anyway.
Good.
I don't want to see you doing your snow angels.
I have to do one now.
You should do that. Can you put it on social media?
I could.
Come on, go for it. You should do that and just
It's trash slamming.
Start with the trash slamming and then just bust out a snow angel.
Yeah.
When you land it. Send it.
Or not.
Oh, no, for sure.
Are you up
all
for
right,
it?
so yeah.
Are you up for the 45 seconds?
I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
I'm not. I haven't done the watch.
Are you doing the questions or am I?
You can do him because it's easy to hear for him because the link is quite.
Gotcha.
45 seconds. I'm ready.
When you say now, I'll fire.
Now.
Who's your favorite band or solo artist?
Oh, that's
you can say pass if you don't want.
Yeah, I have a lot, so that's kind of a hard one.
Okay.
Pass.
Who do you see yourself, or what do you see yourself doing in 5 years?
5 years from now, I'm hoping to be signed for a Polish team, a Swedish team, and an English team, and traveling to 3 different countries a week. That's the goal.
Okay. What do you do when you feel bored?
Watch Heat 20.
Do you have a favorite movie?
No, not off the top of my head right now.
What music makes you mostly happy?
No.
Oh.
That's it.
Probably rock. Honest.
Cool.
We got it.
Yeah.
That's good. We didn't get there. We didn't get very far down. I had a lot of other ones there too, but we'll save them. I was going to ask him, what do you think about bullying? I should have went to those. First.
Yeah, you should have done that.
Yeah. What makes you really angry and why?
That's a good question.
It is.
Yeah.
Should we do 45 seconds more?
Yeah, we can do one more.
45 plus. Anyway. Hey, what can we say? Luke, we thank you very much for taking the time to join us here. We're, as always, we're super honored to have people that want to be a part of the episodes. And I'm a big supporter of Speedway, American Speedway. Of course, you now too. So I thank you for listening and joining us for another rad podcast.
Yeah, I'm honored to be a part of it. Thanks for having me, and thanks for having me, Stefan. And this is awesome. And thanks for making me be a part of it. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck in the future.
Thank you.
Yeah,
hopefully we can meet in person.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, you will. You'll be. We'll do a follow up on the situation as you go. We'll do a follow up at some point and check it out. So
yeah, cool.
Hopefully we're still we're still as big as we are now.
Bigger.
Yeah, we're bigger. Whatever.
Oh, it's gonna grow.
It's gotta grow. So
yeah.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody, to the Reel45 podcast. We'd like to welcome you all to listen in on Podbean, iTunes, and Acast. Be sure to follow us, share us, rate us, like us, everything you can. Share us for sure on Facebook,
Instagram.
Yeah, at Reel45 Podcast. And follow Luke Becker. Luke 22 there's a few underscores in there, but you'll find it.
Just a few.
Yeah, he's the man. But he'll be changing those to overscores pretty soon.
Yeah. True. Cool.
To win. And Stefan, it's always great to see you. Always great to talk to you.
Same to you, man.
More snow angels.
More snow angels.
I'm looking forward to seeing those, so make sure you post them.
I will. Yeah.
Keep it nude, bro. Keep it nude. Ciao.
Ciao.
Welcome to Reel45 with Stefan and Greg Hancock. We vibe out and have real talk, so tune in and check this out. Yeah, today is a new day. Let's seize it now and get hype. We talking about our careers, our family, and just life. Yeah, share my story with you. Inspiration like every day. Reel45, we gon' keep it live. I keep episodes on replay. Hey, Reel45, yeah, Reel45. Show them how we do it, man. Yeah.